أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أتم الحج والعمرة لله. Today we're going to briefly speak about the wisdoms, the spirit, and the purpose behind Hajj. The reason for this is two reasons. One is that Hajj isn't spoken about as much as necessary because some will only do it once in the year or once in our life. Secondly, some people may never do it because they don't have the requirements. Some people don't even learn the rules, they don't learn the wisdom. Secondly, some things in Hajj may seem strange. There might be some things we do and we're just doing it because Allah said, the Prophet said, and we don't really think about why we're doing it. Whereas normally in prayer, we know why we're doing certain actions in zakat, etc. So that's why it's important for us to learn a bit of the spirit regarding Hajj. First of all, we'll very quickly go through the importance of Hajj and we'll list a few reasons why Hajj is more important than even we think about it. The first amazing quality of Hajj is it's the only action or the only pillar of Islam which has its own surah. There's no surah called Surah Salah or Surah Salawat. There's no surah called Surah Zakat, Surah Ramadan, Surah Sawm. There's nothing like this. Not even Surah Dhikr or Surah Tasbih and whatever other action you want to think about. There's no, not even a Surah Jihad. But, or even, to even go one further, you can't even say there's a Surah Iman or Islam. But there's a Surah Hajj. So that's why Allah has given it such a importance and a speciality that there's a whole surah named after it. The second thing is that Rasulullah ﷺ did this action in front of everyone, and every action that he did in Hajj, he would announce, follow me, watch what I'm doing, ask me if you need anything. There's no other action where Rasulullah did this. In Salah, Rasulullah ﷺ just led it once. He said the people closest to me should be smart enough that they learn from me and teach others. So he never actually just stopped on each action and taught the companions. But in Hajj, Rasulullah ﷺ, once again, he taught on each stage. The third amazing characteristic of Hajj and speciality is that all the prophets did it. In a hadith, Rasulullah ﷺ said, Hajj sab'una min al-anbiya, that 70 of the prophets, they performed salah in Masjid al-Khayf, which is in Mina. So that means 70 prophets were there. Another hadith, Rasulullah said, all the prophets after Ibrahim alayhi salam, who obviously built the Kaaba with the sun, they all performed Hajj. So this is another speciality. Another speciality is that once in a lifetime is enough, which shows the power of Hajj. What does that mean? It means Allah Ta'ala gave us zakat once in a year. And zakat is so powerful and it should boost us so much in terms of our wealth and our giving that once in a year should be enough for us. That means in the whole year now we'll be generous enough to give. So zakat was good enough that we give it once, it'll have an effect for the whole year. Ramadan, similarly, once a year, the fast for a month, and that should be enough for our whole year. We see that whenever we're feeling low, Ramadan is around the corner. So once in the year is good enough for us. Salah, Allah Ta'ala realized the need that we have. And that's why Allah said 5 times a day. Even if you had just Salah once in the day, for the rest of the day, we forget Allah. We become heedless. That's why Allah gave it at different times of the day. We'll always keep remembering Allah Ta'ala. Whereas Hajj is so powerful and it should have such a powerful impact on a person that Allah is saying that one Hajj, you do it properly, that's enough for your whole life. Whereas even Salah, Allah is saying, no, you have to do it 5 times a day. Zakat, you have to do it once a year. So that's another thing, that's a speciality of Hajj. The next thing is that it was the last action given to Rasulullah ﷺ. I mentioned that after Hajj, there was no rules given to Rasulullah. He passed away 100 days after Hajj. Another speciality of Hajj is at the peak of Islam, Allah Ta'ala revealed in Hajj that today I've completed your religion. Another speciality or importance of Hajj is that Rasulullah ﷺ, when he would be asked about the best of actions, first he would say belief in Allah. Secondly, the second answer would vary. But sometimes he would say jihad, sometimes he would say pray on his time, sometimes he would say good to your parents, and sometimes he would say Hajj. Hajj Mabrur, accepted Hajj. Another speciality is that Rasulullah ﷺ equated it to jihad for women. Or so a woman said, and should we go out to jihad? Rasulullah said, should I not tell you a jihad in which you don't have to do fighting? She said, tell us that, or Rasulullah. He said, go and perform Hajj and Umrah. And one last thing to show the importance of Hajj, especially for people who don't perform it or who are lax in it, that Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu wanted to give to legislate and put jizya and apply jizya upon the people who had their means to go for Hajj and wouldn't go for Hajj. So imagine, this is something for us to just comprehend, that Umar radiallahu anhu had how many people? Hundreds of thousands of people under his rule, Muslim and non-Muslim. Non-Muslims, from Muslims you take zakat, from non-Muslims you take jizya, which is a tax. So Umar radiallahu anhu said, even if these people are Muslim, but I find out that they could have come for Hajj and they don't, I will go and say, I'm taking jizya from you and not zakat this year, because I don't class you as a Muslim. How can you not? How could you delay Hajj for no reason? Obviously, we know that was a different time where you lived closer to Mecca, everyone could come. There's no, numbers issue and these kind of things, but still it just gives us the importance of Hajj. So that was just something regarding the importance of Hajj. Next we'll go into the purpose of Hajj. Because a person might ask, What's the purpose? Even new Muslims ask, or non-Muslims as well who are interested in Islam, sometimes they'll say, it's a bit like pagan worship. Are we just going to visit a black box? Why are we going to all these locations? Something happened in history at these places, but why should we go? So we have a few purposes of Hajj. The first one, and the most important, is to establish Tawheed and the oneness of Allah Ta'ala. And we get this from the Quran, and we get this from the Sunnah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that we are establishing the oneness of Allah. All the Muslims gather for Hajj only in one place at one time. And they go to one Kaaba, they dress in one cloth, they're saying one thing, labbaik. It's all one word, and this is showing Tawheed, everything is happening for the sake of Allah Ta'ala. That's the first thing. Second thing in terms of Tawheed is that Allah Ta'ala only made Hajj so that the Kaaba could be purified of all the idols. So after the Kaaba was purified of all the idols, the next year, Allah Ta'ala said, now you go for Hajj. So He shows that now that nobody is being worshipped other than Allah in Jazirat al-Arab, in the peninsula, now you go for Hajj. So this is the main thing, the main purpose of Hajj is to establish Tawheed and the oneness of Allah Ta'ala. That's why in Jabir radiallahu anh, he says, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the tarbiyah and took the intention of Hajj ala Tawheed, upon Tawheed. What does it mean upon Tawheed? That he's saying, oh Allah, I'm only doing this, lak, for you and only you. So this again, it shows in the Quran, Allah Ta'ala says, Atimul Hajj wal Umrata lillah, do your Hajj and do your Umrah only for the sake of Allah Ta'ala. That's why another narration, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was performing Hajj, he said, oh Allah, this is a Hajj in which there is no showing off and no boasting. No showing off and no boasting. So a person might think, why would Rasulullah say this in his intention when every action should be like this? But Rasulullah is stressing upon us that this is something we should be doing for the sake of. When a person fasts, they can't boast, they can't show off. There's no showing off. When a person gives charity, it can very easily be given quietly. Whereas Hajj, you're doing in front of people. This could be something that you tell people before you leave. When you're there as well, you can show off. Now we have pictures and all of these things. So Rasulullah openly said, no, just for Allah. So the first purpose is Tawheed. Second purpose is a very easy purpose, is to earn the success of this world and the hereafter. Success of this world and the hereafter comes by the forgiveness of our sins. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, accepted Hajj, a person will return from Hajj as if the day he was born, meaning all sins forgiven. So there's nothing better than this. Secondly, success in the hereafter, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Al-Hajjul Mabrur laysa lahu jaza'un illa al-Jannah. A accepted Hajj which Allah Ta'ala is happy with, there is no other reward for it except a straight ticket to Jannah. What about this world? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in a hadith that a person who tabi'u bayn al-Hajj wal Umrah, whoever keeps going for Hajj and Umrah, meaning not keeps going as in every month or whatever, at least in your mind, I've gone once, I want to go again. I'm going to try to go next year. I'm going to try to go in a few years. I'm going to try to take this person. Maybe I took my parents, I'll try to take my wife. So you're always having the intention to go again and again. Rasulullah said, فَإِنَّهُمَا يَنْفِيَانِ الْفَقْرَ وَالذُّنُوبِ. This will take away sins, but we already spoke about sins. It'll take away poverty. So it'll actually help us in this world as well. So it's not just about the hereafter, it's actually giving us success in this world, taking away poverty. So even though you're spending on Hajj, in the long run, Allah Ta'ala is going to give you wealth, either in terms of just blessings or actually wealth in this world as well. The third purpose of Hajj is that we're following the Sunnah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. As Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said in Hajj a few times, "Khudu anni manasikum." Take from me my rites of Hajj. So we learn from Rasulullah, we follow him, we don't question. You'll see many people in Hajj, normally they think very rational about Islam. When it comes to Hajj, they say, Imaam Sahib or the group leader, how should I wear my ihram? And there's no question. They'll just wear it and they'll go for it because they know this. We're doing this Hajj and it's just the way Rasulullah told us, and from the Sunnah of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, nothing else. So we learn how to follow the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The next purpose of Hajj is very important and is also very deep. Is that it's actually I'll do one before that, is to follow the way of all the prophets and the pious that came before us. Meaning, like I mentioned, all the prophets performed Hajj. And Sayyidina Ibrahim built the Kaaba. Then the other thing we know is that this is the place where even our greatest grandfather Adam alayhi salam built the Kaaba first. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even while he was going for Hajj, was reminding the people that the other prophets went for Hajj. He said, I'm passing by this mountain and ka'anni ara, as if I see Musa alayhi salam walking past here saying labbaik loudly. So he's also reminding the companions that this isn't just something we're doing, the prophets previously also did it. We also know that we're bringing alive the stories of Sayyidina Maryam and Ismail alayhi salam. And the amazing thing about Hajj, which is another quality that only Hajj has, it's the only good action that you're doing in the same place. So you do, normally even in Salah, we're doing the same Salah that the pious did before us, but it's not necessarily that a prophet came here and prayed Salah in this masjid. Whereas Hajj, we're doing the same action they did in the same place they did it. So this is a double quality, where we're doing the same action that the pious did, or all the prophets did, in the same place that they did it. So this is another purpose of Hajj, is that it connects us to the previous prophets. And the last purpose of Hajj is that it helps us lessen our connection with this world, and especially takes away our love and extravagance, our love for extravagance in this world. How? In the ihram, we don't shave. We're not allowed to shave. We're not allowed to trim our hair. We're not allowed to wear perfume. We're not allowed to be intimate with our spouses. We can't wear fancy clothes. All of these things. Why do we have to do this? We can't even hunt. We can't even do all these kind of things. Why can't we do this? These are all things of extravagance and bounties. So Allah Ta'ala is teaching us that for these few days, if you ward them away and you shun them, you keep away from all these desires and fancy things, slowly throughout your entire life, you should also be turning away from extravagance and these kind of things. So these were a few purposes for Hajj. Now we'll just go into certain parts of the Hajj, and we'll explain some of the reasons and the wisdom behind them. The first thing, when a person goes for Hajj, you have to put yourself in ihram. Ihram, we know, is a 2 white cloth for men. The women, they just wear general modest clothing, but they just can't cover their faces. So what's the purpose of the ihram? Ihram, we know, is a state, not the clothing. Meaning it's when you make the intention, that means you're already in ihram. You say, oh Allah, I'm in ihram. So the clothing is a condition of the ihram. The ihram isn't just the clothing. But what does it teach us? Number one, it teaches simplicity. A person has to wear 2 white cloths. This is something that's of utmost simplicity. There's nothing more simple than that. Secondly, it teaches us unity. Every single Muslim that goes for Hajj is going to wear the same clothes. So we learn that we're all one, no matter what race, what background, where we're from, what our education is, old, young, all these things. But no, we're all on the same level. So it teaches unity. We're all following the same religion. It teaches simplicity. It teaches unity. It takes away pride from all us, etc. So these kind of things. Another purpose of ihram, especially the state of ihram, is like Ramadan. In Ramadan, we know we can't eat, we can't drink, and we can't be intimate with our spouses. So just like that, in ihram, we also have certain things which are normally halal for us, now it's haram. So we build that taqwa and that God consciousness. And the last thing is this ihram should remind us of the kafan when we die. So it should be a reminder of our death. These same 2 cloths could be the same cloths that will be used as our kafan, our shroud, when we pass away. The next thing is when a person now puts his ihram on, he makes the talbiyah. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Oh Allah, I am present. We mentioned this is what the previous prophets would do. What are some things that we learn from this labbaik? Very quickly, the first one establishes tawheed. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika lak. Oh Allah, there's no partners for you. So we're establishing that only Allah is one. Secondly, He gives us tawakkul, that we say in La Sharika, oh Allah, that is none that are more powerful than you. So we get this reliance on Allah Ta'ala. The third thing, it renews our shukr. Inna lakal hamd wa lakal shukr. Shukru lak. That all gratitude, all praises for you, Allah Ta'ala. The fourth purpose of talbiyah and labbaik is that all the animals and all the trees, and the Hadith Rasulullah said, they'll all reply to you and they'll bear witness for you. So some person might say, why through all the days of Hajj do you have to keep saying this labbaik? But we have to remember, as the coach is going, as we're just walking, everything that sees us, be it the dust, be it the trees, be it the buildings, they'll bear witness for us and they're also replying to us. And another amazing thing the scholars say regarding talbiyah and labbaik is just like the takbir in salah. When we move from ruku to sajda, we say Allahu Akbar, then we say Allahu Akbar when we go back up, we say Allahu Akbar when we go in sajda. Similarly, we say labbaik when we're walking from Arafat to Mina. Especially we're told that, okay, in Arafat, you're not saying labbaik, you're doing dua. In Mina, you're not saying labbaik, you're pelting the shaitan, you're doing dhikr or something. So you're not doing in those places. But when you're walking from a place to another, that's the time to say labbaik. So it's almost like, just like in salah, you move from one position to another, you say Allahu Akbar. Here in Hajj, when you move from one position to another, you're saying labbaik. Another thing is the sunnah of all the prophets. And another very important thing we learn from the labbaik is that it needs to actually reflect on all our life. Meaning, in Hajj, Allah is saying, say labbaik. And go to Arafat, say labbaik. So we're saying labbaik, Allah, I'm ready, I'm going to do this. We should learn that in my whole life, I should be saying labbaik to any command Allah gives me. The next salah that comes after Hajj, when we hear the muazzin say, hey, Allah salah, we should be saying labbaik and running to it. The next time we have to give charity, we should say labbaik. So labbaik should now become our answer to any of the good actions or any call that Allah Ta'ala gives us throughout our entire life. So this is the talbiyah and the labbaik. We'll quickly run through the other very important parts of Hajj. The tawaf, we know that we have to go around the Kaaba 7 times. This is to teach us the importance of the Kaaba. It teaches the fact that the Kaaba has to be central in our life. Our life has to move around the Kaaba, meaning Allah Ta'ala. When we talk about the Kaaba, it's symbolizing Allah Ta'ala. When Umar radiallahu anhu saw the Kaaba, what did he say straight away? Allahumma anta salam. So he's not even addressing the Kaaba. He's saying, Allah, you are salam. Meaning the Kaaba straight away remind him of Allah. So tawaf should remind us, just we're walking around the Kaaba, our life should be going around the deen of Allah Ta'ala. So that's the purpose of tawaf. And the scholars say, if Hajj is like a lover going to meet their beloved. They say when somebody is far away from their beloved, and the journey to their beloved, that's going to be the most happy journey, etc., especially when they meet them. So this Hajj is like a lover's journey to the beloved. So when you just say you can't get into the house, but you're walking around the house, almost like in a mental state, how do I get in? That's how they say, that's how a person is in tawaf. You're walking around the home of your beloved, almost as if in a mental state, like I just want to meet the beloved now, I just want to speak to them, spend time with them. So that's tawaf. We spoke about the ihram, talbiyah. Then we have when a person goes to Arafat, Arafat, we spend it on the plains, and we're supposed to be turning to Allah Ta'ala, worshiping Allah Ta'ala. Here, the amazing thing is that we should remind us of the Day of Judgment, where everyone will be turning towards Allah Ta'ala on the Day of Judgment. When we talk about then after Arafat, we have Muzdalifah. Muzdalifah, everyone will go and spend time at night. And then in the morning, they will all wake up together and they'll rise up. This should be reminding us of when we rise up from our graves in front of Allah Ta'ala. So these things will remind us of the hereafter. Then after that, we go to Mina and we pelt the shaitan. So this is not just a physical pelting. This should be a spiritual pelting where we are pelting the shaitan from our life. We're saying to shaitan, you have now messed my life up for long enough. Now I'm pelting the shaitan, I'm getting rid of you. And some people, take it too far. They start to throw sticks. They start to try to get in there and punch the shaitan. Some people take out their slippers and they throw it. Some people try to grab the biggest rocks. We know these things are not important because it's not about the physical pelting. It's about the spiritual pelting, meaning where if I pelt the shaitan here, and the days after Hajj, 4 days after Hajj, I'm missing Salah, I go back to my old ways, then the shaitan has won. But if I believe that, no, I'm pelting the shaitan, I'm getting him out of my life, or at least I'm going to start to try to get him out of my life, then that's the purpose of the pelting of the shaitan. Then we have, after that, is the sacrifice. We've spoken about the sacrifice, and the true importance of the sacrifice is not just the blood, rather we are sacrificing, again, we're showing to Allah that we sacrifice this, we can sacrifice much bigger things. This blood is for you, Allah Ta'ala, etc. And the last thing is that a person shaves his head. A person shaves his head at the end of Hajj. This is again to signify, some scholars say it signifies like when a person in the previous days, and when a person is caught red-handed, a person is guilty for some crime, then one of the things you do is shave the head. And then you come back from wherever with a shaven head as if now you repented from your crime. So they say a person comes back from Hajj as if he's repented, but that doesn't really sit well because that, you could say, that came after Islam. And Islam doesn't need to conform for this, but that could be wisdom. But the real thing is, again, we are getting off all of this dirt and the filth that we had before Hajj. We're trying to start a new life. So we're saying, oh Allah, just like I'm trying to be reborn, let me get rid of all the filth that I had from before. So just the physical filth that I have, I'm also going to try to get rid of the spiritual filth, and then I can restart my life. So when a person does Hajj like this, then maybe a person will be able to change his life just from these 5 days. We have to remember when we always speak about Hajj, I need to go for Hajj. Hajj is only 5 days. Out of them, 2 days is in Mina, and all you have to do in the morning is go and pelt and come back. So when you think about it, Hajj is only 3 main days. So how can that 3 days change a person's life? But we understand that no, if a person does it correctly with the preparation, one is the khushu and the khudu. So we talk about salah, we have khushu and khudu. Khushu means that your mind is right, khudu means you're physically right. So similarly in Hajj, your mind has to be right, physically you have to be right, meaning you're doing the right things, you're going to Arafat, Muzdalifah, Mina, Tawaf, all these things, but your mind has to be right, you know why you're doing them, what effect is going to have on you. Then this Hajj, inshallah, will be the life changer, and will be the one that Allah Ta'ala will make such that a person returns without any sins, a person's life changes. Previously, people would go for even Umrah, one Tawaf, and their life would change. Now we see that people go for Umrah once a year, people even go multiple times a year, then nothing's changing. Now it just becomes like almost just part of their tourism. So every year we travel 5 different places, one of them is Umrah. No, previously, the people, the scholars, the pious predecessors, even the average person, they go for one Hajj, they go for an Umrah, the entire life changes. The entire outlook on life changes. We should inshallah try to bring back that spirit, and it'll come from studying Hajj and also understanding why we are doing each action of Hajj. We have very simple books that we can learn these from. Let's try to, and we have the videos online as well, inshallah. Let's try to look into them, especially if every year around the Hajj time, we should try to renew our knowledge regarding Hajj, and then we keep making intention to go for Hajj. We ask Allah Ta'ala to give us the ability to have done what we said. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين من كل ذنب فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. Any questions regarding Hajj? Anything in Hajj that there's we do the Ramal walk. You know why we do it?
I don't know if it was it to show them.
So this is another. So this tells us actually is kind of what we're learning, that we just follow Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in these things. Sometimes yes, we look for a wisdom, but we'll still say like Umar radiallahu anhu when he saw the black stone, he said, "Oh black stone, I wouldn't have kissed you except that I saw Rasulullah kiss you." So when the Muslims went from Medina back to Mecca, the non-Muslims were saying, these Muslims in Medina, Medina has made them weak. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, no, for the first tawaf, we're going to walk a bit faster, we're going to put our chests out. We're going to show that no, Medina didn't make us weak. So when three are done, and they realized, no, Medina didn't make, these guys are still strong, and they went back to their homes, and he said, now we can walk normally. So this continued, this became a sunnah, it continued even after Rasulullah passed away. Now we came to Umar radiallahu anhu's time, he said, all of Makkah are Muslim, who do we need to show? And he was planning to change it and say this is not a sunnah anymore. And obviously he had the using the other Quran and the hadith. He's saying he's not changing the sunnah, he's saying it's not applicable anymore. But then he realized and he said, he took a step back and he said no. One of the Ibn Abbas, I believe, radiallahu anhu, one of the companions told him no, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did this, we shouldn't change it. So now till the day of Qiyamah, even though no non-Muslim is looking at us or no one's going to be scared of the walk we do, but we still told this is a sunnah and we just do it. So that's one of the reasons of, or is the reason of Ramal. On Hajj. So this is an interesting question. So can somebody make, just for the listeners, can somebody make the intention of business when they go for Hajj? Because in previous lifetimes, especially and now, Hajj was a meeting point for the entire Muslim world. So, for example, if you're living somewhere in Iraq, you could never meet somebody from Egypt. It was just so long travel, etc., very expensive. But you know, if I go for Hajj, I'll meet so many businessmen from Egypt. We can establish our network and we can do business and trade, etc., or dealings, whatever. Can you do this? Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran, الحج أشهر معلومات فمن فرض فيهن الحج فلا رفث ولا فسوق وما تفعلوا من خير يعلمه الله واتقوا ليس عليكم فإذا أفضتم من عرفة. There's one verse where Allah Ta'ala says, when you finish your Hajj, then search from the good that Allah Ta'ala has written for you. So the scholars interpret this. They say no, a person can go for Hajj with the intention of business. They say maybe you shouldn't do it in your state of ihram.
They can make it.
Yes. No. They can make the intention that I'm going for Hajj and also I'm going to meet other people. Because in the Quran Allah Ta'ala says no, you can search from the goodness that Allah Ta'ala has written for you. Previously the scholars were another thing that they would do, but this is obviously a good, they're all good intentions, but a righteous Islamic intention where a scholar of hadith, for example, wanted to take the hadith of the people of Yemen, but he's never met them. So he said, okay, I'll go for Hajj. I know the scholars of Yemen will come there. I'll sit with them and I'll take all the hadith of Yemen. And they would say, we would be more excited for this reason than the actual Hajj itself. A person might think, why can you think like this? But no, it's because they performed their fard Hajj. Now it's going and we're doing the rituals, but we're also going to get all these hadith we've never heard maybe, or we don't know these chains of narration or this knowledge. So they said that's definitely something that's good. And this is similar in business. A person can make the intention that, I'm going to go there. There's going to be hundreds of thousands of Muslims, maybe even you could say 1 million, 2 million Muslims from all over the world, and establish links, connections, and these things. There's no problem with this. A person can make the intention to go and do business. Yes, a person shouldn't go only for business. That's a different thing. A person shouldn't say, oh, I'm going to go do business and I'm struggling here, so let me go and go do Hajj, and then so you're doing Islamic banking. So you think the best place to go will be Hajj, and I'll have all these Muslims that can potential clients. We say no, you don't go exclusively for business, but if you also have that as one of your intentions, there's no issue with this. People will go in caravans and they'll have things to sell. So you're taking your caravan from wherever city you're going for Hajj, and in that caravan they're taking things to sell in Hajj. So there's no issue with this. The person can make the intention of wanting to get married. No, your Hajj has to be for Allah. So there's a difference. Your Hajj can't have intention for other things. So your Hajj is still for Allah Ta'ala. Your travel is going to be can be for other things. So your Hajj can't be, I'm also doing this Hajj to show people. No. So the Hajj is for Allah Ta'ala, whereas your travel you're doing for other things. So that's no issue. Like on the side, like how often can you travel to Makkah, for example? So you say, this time I'm going to go, I'm also going to do these things. Yes, my Hajj, the Hajj days, etc. In that time, you just for the sake of Allah Ta'ala. Because and then the other thing is that we have to remember is, it used to be once in a lifetime. And so people will go for 3-4 months. So now your Hajj is 5 days, your Umrah is going to be another 5 hours, 5 hours, 5 hours. In the middle of that, you have time to do other things. So it's no issue. And business is obviously a sunnah as well, so that's no problem. Then the other question we get a lot is about women, can they go without a mahram? So this is the question that a lot of people ask. If a woman wants to go for Hajj and she doesn't have a mahram. She doesn't have somebody from the 12 mahrams that she normally has, brother, nephew, father, father-in-law, all of these people, then can she still go for, if she doesn't have any of them, can she still go for Hajj? So she can afford it. Maybe she's not married, or maybe she's married, her husband can't afford it, she has the wealth, can she go for Hajj? So there's one stricter opinion where she still can't go for Hajj. There's a secondly opinion which is slightly less strict, which says if she has enough wealth for a mahram, she actually has to pay for him as well and take him with her. So if she has enough wealth for a mahram, so she has enough wealth for her, she has enough wealth for a mahram, she has to actually pay a mahram and say, you come with me and we're going together for Hajj. The third opinion, another opinion is that no, Hajj is still not further upon her. She just does, she gets pay somebody to go and do it on my behalf, because I can't go right now. I'm not in a situation where I can go because I don't have a mahram. But then now the general consensus, and it's obviously it's not a new fatwa, it's always been there, but it's just the it's been opinion in the madhahib, is that as long as she has a group of men and women that she knows, there's a group of men and women, just a large group in there, they are males and females, so that counts as a mahram for her. So a group of, so they're not her family, so she's got female friends, and maybe there's like family friends of men as well. So obviously she's spending time with the women, of course, but it's just a group. Maybe her friend is bringing her husband, so she's obviously got a mahram. So there's just men and women together, so that's enough. But she shouldn't go unless she knows there's no other mahram that she can go with and these kind of things. So it's generally allowed, but then we have just these small caveats and conditions. So that's just some, again, rulings regarding Hajj. Inshallah, we'll end it there. If anyone online also has any questions, you can send it down. Inshallah. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum. Chalo, bismillah. I think